Hi everyone, and welcome to your tarot guidance for the week of April the 25th, 2022. Now, for this week, I have decided to use a special tarot deck, this one, because this is so very in tune with nature, and nature has a very big saying this week, this even without tarot or anything, because there is a solar eclipse in Taurus, and that births something regardless of any other detail, and that is also a moment when nature herself can draw in, she can basically feed herself from very, very refined spiritual energies, which she has only access to at moments of eclipses. And eclipse is very important because on Saturday we have this solar eclipse in Taurus. So we are definitely going to be feeling it one way or another this week. Of course, eclipses do take sometimes 6 months to actually come into play for us to live the full picture of how that eclipse changed our lives or changed our reality, so to speak. So basically, that means that, of course, the big story or how this eclipse is unfolding for us will be a moment of reflection, perhaps at the end of this year, thinking back what happened during the summer, etc. Yet still, there is a haste, there is a momentum to this eclipse which does suggest that something, at least part of, or at least a small piece of the bigger puzzle, is gonna be seen or gonna be revealed or come to the surface, perhaps around the time, the week of the eclipse, of course, next week as well. So keep this in mind that this can be a week of surprises because Uranus is very, very active here with the eclipse hand in hand. And also at the eclipse, Venus is in perfect conjunction with Jupiter. So exactitude. Jupiter expands everything it touches, and it touches Venus's 27 exaltation degree, where she is at her most powerful. And this in itself is extremely rare. When Venus behaves this way and receives this empowerment from Jupiter, she has no bounds. This is where either her romantic expression or money, let's say, worth, any kind of worth expressed in any kind of way, or perhaps some people desire or dream more about something more miraculous, something more occult, something more magical, something which should never even be real, like a state or something. So this is when Venus really seeks out any possible channel to make herself be felt, be lived. This is Venus in exaltation. So all of us will feel at least a slight blessing one way or another in our lives. But anyway, this is just my prediction, this is just my forecast, but let's see the real one, what the universe is telling us more specifically. Let us this time ask Mother Nature because it's her eclipse and she knows better. So we have the Magician, and this already reminds me that at the moment of the eclipse, so Saturday this week, Mercury is going to be at 0 degrees of Gemini. So Mercury loves being in that part of the sky which it rules. It's a solar Mercury. Yes, it is in shadow, but still Mercury is in a very happy place. So the Magician card represents Mercury in classical tarot. So that means that our minds, our mindsets, our way of thinking, way of communication, and basically the vibe, what we transmit through our speech and any kind of communication, is that much more playful, it is that much more solar, it is that much more juvenile. And this goes for anything that has to do with a more spiritual expression of the magician, which is the magician in a real sense. So everyone into magic, spiritual practices, manifestation of all kind might feel this eclipse very, very strongly. The Ten of Air, which in in classic tarot is the Ten of Swords. So that is a card which tells us, regardless of the situation, that something has to end and we have to accept that it's over for good. But we also have to embrace the place, whatever ended or whatever we lost, that it left. So we can fill that up with something much more unique and authentic, or there is already something new at the horizon. So the Ten of Air, you see, in this tarot deck, depicts this energy, the Ten of Swords, as birds moving on, which is so very, very suggestive, because everything, new beginnings and endings, everything goes on in a cycle. Everything in our lives is just a cycle, and it does repeat for everyone, even those people who truly live in accordance to chaos, so a lot of hazard in their lives. There are certain patterns which repeat even for them despite the hazard. So this Ten of Air does depict, when birds migrate, one continent outlived this purpose and another one calls. But of course, this will repeat again and again and again. And this reminds me of a song, and no, I don't usually do this, but it really jumped into my mind. And the lyrics of it, especially, I don't know if you guys ever heard Linkin Park, so the singer already says a lot about the age of Aquarius, so to speak, the big problems of the age of Aquarius, but let's leave this aside. Burn it to the ground or something like that. That's the title of the song. And it depicts this moment so beautifully that yes, new continent, new life, new everything, but it will repeat again when the birds have to reverse the other way around. And this is nature's design. This is the natural expression of the cycles. This is when the cycles are in tune with Saturn, the Lord governing the duration of the cycles. So this does depict that this will be felt collectively as well. We will be abandoning something collectively. May this be a feeling, a normality, a paradigm even, a world leader, leaving behind an old person, or leaving behind an old ideology and heading towards somewhere. That is why I really, really love the expression of the Ten of Swords in this deck, because there is a strong, strong, strong sense of direction. So whatever the doomy and gloomy part of this was and is, and in this natural cycle, well, it's not really anything personal. Nature changes, winter, etc. So nature already built in the GPS here. So this is no doom and gloom for the birds. They are well prepared. And this goes for all of us. If we prepare ourselves internally by making sure that our mindsets see the good side of this, and how symbolic, because I could have used the classical tarot of Rider-Waite, for example, and then I would have been speaking to you about how to be very careful your thoughts not to defeat you. And with this deck, that is not what I'm saying. In this deck, what I am saying is embrace the finality and basically see the difference your mindset makes in everything, what you project onto reality. Because if you see this ending as a new direction, well, that makes you a hero, an adventurer, a journeyman. So you're actually making a lot of progress. But if you see this as having to leave all behind and everything lost, and the dreams and the memories and the summer, then you will be stuck. Even if your body or your spirit, let's say, moves on, a part of you, the Scorpio part, will still be blocked in seeing this as a loss. So I do believe that this is what Mother Nature, because I'm channeling her right now, is telling us. the way we look at things and the way look at this magician, our ancestors are very much with us at an eclipse, believe it or not. The way our ancestors used to look at things matters quite a lot, because perhaps it is the ancestral perspective, regard it as primitive as you like, which is more accordance to the more commonly accepted truth as in nature, than our own modern, more or less BSs, where we try to bypass everything with psychology, even spirituality, and the hyperego, and it's not necessarily healthy, and our accelerated spiritual journeys and escalation in that sense might not be one all that much rewarding compared to one where there is time to mature, like a good vine, like cheese. And this is so symbolic, and this jumped out, so I have to keep them. So this already depicts, oh, this one as well. This is so interesting because look, 1, 10 is in numerology 1, 4, 4, 5. So the 4 of air in classical tarot, it is 4 of swords. Again, how much my inner calling to use this particular deck mattered, how much the spirit in me mattered, because I would tell you to rest your mind in classical tarot. I would tell you that this is a week when we truly have to cut out the stress and try to fight it, rest as much as we can, be kind to ourselves because it will be stressful. But now I'm not telling you this. I'm telling you to keep your mind focused as much as you can on your desires, and basically the only way, magician, you can control your reality is if you fixate your mindset to look at things as a progress, as a journey. You're heading towards, there is a destination. Sometimes the geese don't know where they're going because their brain is switched off, but their instinct just know. You can do the same, even better. So being a bit lost but still progressing is more than okay. This was very scary in the old paradigm, because this meant maybe, changing jobs, losing house, moving homes, benefits, or who knows, asking friends for help, or just believing in myself and doing something so very brave that I'm really peeing in my pants. That was the old, this is where I'm just wild. I'm part of nature. I'm a life force, and I'm gonna live and no one's gonna stop me. So this is where the house and anything else doesn't matter, because there's a life force that wants to exist. Mother Nature will protect that life force. And this 4 of Swords, rest, yes, of course, rest. And mind, resting your mind. But these are dreams in your mind, and these are hatching. So give them warmth, give them love, nurture them, nurture your thoughts, your dreams, your inspirations, your epiphanies. Because, this is symbolic. An eclipse in High Priest is, in classic tarot, is sign of Taurus. So Taurus jumped out. And this is where teacher, your belief, this is where your soul is teaching you how to live. And this is literal right now, because you're living in an already different paradigm. Things work differently. The unwritten rules are different already everywhere. And the builder, time to build. But even this nest where your dreams are deposited was built by you. You were the builder already. You provided the safety, the safe environment, the cocoon. And the color blue, how symbolic. It is the highest dream, the sky. So what this says is literally like a language. And don't believe me, just follow the language. The magician mind. So focus on progress, moving on. It doesn't matter what you're leaving behind. A dream calls to you that which you already consolidated. You build a nest for it, you gave it everything, you kept it safe, you guarded it from predators, you guarded it from yourself, you guarded it from your shadow, you guarded it from everything. It's there, it's hatching, and now build, keep on building, build, and have the faith because it's done already. This is where this combination suggests that this week we might be seeing, witnessing, experiencing something that we have built. And how very suggestive. And that means whatever is falling behind, or whatever we may have to leave behind, well, on one hand, if it's falling behind, then it's building material for this. If we have to leave it behind, we only leave the matter, but the know-how, the wisdom, the lived experience, the diligence, how to build, the inspiration, well, that we take with us. And of course, this is fresh and new hope. When chicks hatch, imagine your dreams hatching. But of course, keep in mind that your dreams will be a hatchling, not a fully hatched bird, which means even more fun, because you can feed it. And the sacredness when your dream, your creation, your profession, whatever this, your love story, whatever this means to you, whatever is going to be built and created, well, that is basically, you're a mother to it, regardless of your gender. And, well, collectively, this is where, the magician is usually where the trends lead us. This is where, let's say, one country does something and the other countries follow, the trendsetter. So one country is going to abandon, leave behind something, give up on something, terminate something, defeat something, because these are moving on. Their nests are already gone and burned and whatever. These are moving on. So this already happened. So I expect that at the beginning of the week there's like an international agreement that all countries do this or that. And that provides a false sense of peace. Because peace, rest from strife. This is peaceful, but when the eggs hatch, the chicks are gonna scream. That's not peaceful. So on the world stage, this is not necessarily positive because there will be noise. And we do have a vengeful, and I'm so sorry to use this word, but we do have a vengeful, especially on the world stage for world leaders, lunar eclipse in Scorpio very soon, in May, in the second half of May, in the middle of May. And that will do a lot. This Taurus eclipse, is more like, let's plant the seeds of intention. Literally, it's just a flower stage, so it might be more positive, and whatever crisis comes in our lives or in the world is more like a creative, constructive, inspirational, or pushing us from the back one, rather than doom and gloom and drama. Of course, unless something is in your personal chart, like, I'm not saying there are not gonna be people who will feel this more negatively because something is in their own destiny and karma, but for most people it's kind of like this, how this depicts it, moving on and finding something, the build is stirring your passion, your hobby, your interest, or a love story, or because that's also building a life together. 2 4 is 2 and 5, making this permanent. The high priest, for some people this will be surprise pregnancy, or surprise moments when you have a best friend and you were friends for 10 years and all of a sudden it took all this time for you to figure out that you want to be together, and your realities, lives changed drastically, because even though you always had each other in your lives, now it will be different. This is just an example, but I'm 1,000,000% that this will happen to a lot of people, because this is Venus's signature. When she is up to no good, this is what she does. She likes to have fun. So this is where the new relationships is, if this eclipse energy or this week is new relationship and love and romance, well then expect it from the least expected place, so it will be delightful, let's say. But on the world stage, definitely not delightful, because this is false. This is the safety of peace or stability or peace talks, for example, which are just covering up, buying time for something not so positive to be built. So this week is gonna be the setup of something that will escalate later on, probably in May. So this does represent the magician, 10 of air, 4 of air. On the world stage, this means lies, deception, not true. Nothing that you see might be true this week. So this is just the magician's dark side. It pulls the wool. It smoke and mirrors. Should I say anything else? And the teacher, they want you to believe something because they need to build. This is it. For the collective expression of this energy. Because I don't really want to go all that far with my conspiracy theories, so to speak. But don't believe it. Don't believe anything. So one final divine guidance, like a suggestion or something. Oh, sorry. I brought another deck for that. This one. Because this might depict, nature's chaotic side. Ooh. So we have the Daughter of Pentacles reversed. The Two of Swords. Again, the proper 10 of Swords. No! This is 10 of Wands. Sorry. And the Fool. So, Daughter of Pentacles, 2 of Swords. This is where it's not real. The Two of Swords exactly, not being able to tell what is real and what not. So neither the Daughter of Swords, the decline, the catastrophe, the economic problem isn't as real, but neither is the growth. So this is where the figures lie, mathematics lie. The 10 of Wands, burden, heavy karmic burden, being lifted by somehow. But the 10 of Wands usually can mean earthquake. It can mean some natural calamity which signifies nature releasing pressure. But new beginning, so something shocking will happen this week. And as divine guidance, it means this, just this. This is where you just need to embody the Fool, the zero. Reset, purity, returning to total innocence. You being the king of your own reality and rejecting that which isn't yours. So basically, whenever you cannot trust your eyes or anything, see the eclipse. Not even the eclipse is revelatory, as in on the world stage. Then just shed off the burden. Just see the egg hatching, the chick. How every decks even now interconnect with each other. It's almost like something knows what we're speaking about right now, because it's showing us the symbolisms that we have spoken about earlier. And as you saw, I didn't really extract, they just fell out. So the universe kind of knows and is very in tune. So this kind of means that trust the gut, trust the instinct. Because yeah, you're already exactly where you need to be. So this concludes today's guidance. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being with me. If you'd like to support my work, you can donate in the PayPal link in the description below. With this being said, I wish everyone a truly magical and miraculous eclipse and Venus in exaltation. May romance, love, and magic just fill your lives and make you feel as special as you truly deserve to be. Thank you so much. Until next time, bye for now.